When Jack lays down the suicide squeeze. Never mind, he's running up. And that's a shot! That's a shot! Grand slam! Jack Fields is gone! And my goodness, he lays down the bunt, and Jack Fields sends one to the moon. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome to the next episode of the post-draft interview. And today, for the last episode, we have Monarchs manager Jack Fields.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
All right, so we'll get right into this. So first off, for the power rankings, I had you ranked number 1. I don't think you're mad about that. That's pretty good. What do you think about that power ranking?
I mean, I think it's the best power ranking because if you look at the stat-wise and all the players, we have a lot of big-name players. Instead, like, some teams have, like, a few big-name players, but we have, like, the most big-name players, so I think it's a good prediction.
I think it came down to I liked your core of 3 better. I think typically, even if teams bat 4 or 5 people, the best 3 players are really who win the game. How do you plan on, I think you and Zayden both kind of have a history sometimes later in the season if your team isn't as successful but kind of has a chance of not trying all the way through. Do you plan on continuing that, or do you plan on trying hard through the end of the season?
This year, it's a new year, new everything. So this year, I'll make sure the whole entire team's committed, that we don't give up and don't stop grinding and keep playing our best.
All right. So with your draft, top 3 players or all the way down through all 10, what was your game plan with what kind of players you wanted?
I was hoping Foster did pick Mickey so I could get Zayden and Austin, because I really wanted Zayden and Austin to have a good core 3 instead of like a core 2. And then if for the other players, if they were there and they're big name players, I could get them and it'd be nice. But I definitely wanted Zayden and Austin in the same team with me. Yeah,
that's definitely a good core. You got the Rookie of the Year. You had Zayden in contention for Clutch Player of the Year, a big part of the World Series. Speaking of the World Series, you're coming off a World Series win. Year before you came off, I believe you were the worst record in the league. Year before that, you won the World Series. With this kind of roller coaster you're on track to be the worst team in the league. How do you plan on making sure that you're in that World Series?
This year, I really don't know. I'm just gonna make sure that we're all committed, stay focused, and we don't stop giving up. Make sure that at least 5 of my players come. For sure, Zayden and Austin can come. I know Taylor will show up. Baylor, I can get him to come. Jack Kelly could show up a few weeks at Hope Us. And other teams, they look okay, not the best. So I'm not too worried about making it to the World Series because it should be pretty light.
Gotcha. In terms of matchup, which of the other 3 teams scares you the most? Not necessarily the team you think will be the 2nd seed, just the one that you think matches up against the Monarchs the best.
The team that matches up the best? Maybe Sandlot, because they do have one of the best pitchers, Drew, and they have one of the best hitters, Conlon. So it's going to be hard if we do face Drew pitching, and then we have to face Conlon in the lineup. But then also the Cows with Foster and Mickey and Mason and Zach. That's a good 4 if they can all show up, and that would be pretty scary. And the Packers, their field will be scary, so we just have to make sure we hit over their heads, like I always do.
Gotcha. So you talked about pitching. You're always in the conversation, at least to win Kayla's award. If it's not a year you're winning it, do you plan on stepping up and also being in that MVP race? Do you expect someone else in your team to do it, or are you just kind of relying on an all-around game?
I'm relying on an all-around game. I'm not trying to like one player just focus on himself. I just want a team player, that we're all team players. We don't care about each other. Care about ourselves.
Gotcha. So you're avoiding having what Conlon was for the Monarchs last year. You guys had a lot of talent, but I can tell that you kind of want to step away from the play style the Monarchs had last year. Do you plan on being a leader for the team, or are you guys just kind of all team players that don't necessarily need one person at top?
I will definitely be the leader, but then also I don't want a person just thinking it's they can do whatever and that they think that they could carry the team. I just want everyone just to contribute the same. If some player does do good, and they just keep going. And I'm not planning on any of us winning MVP, but if someone does have a good season, then it could happen.
Yeah, I definitely think your team, I had you at the 1 for the all-around play, not necessarily the being carried by one person. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another reason why I had you at the 1 seed is every other team relies on their best player or their best 2 players having great seasons. You have a little bit of depth that I think is underrated. You have some players that either historically don't show up a bunch or are kind of question marks later in your lineup. You have your guaranteed core 3 of UZ and Austin, but then you got Brian, who sometimes doesn't show up. When he does, he's really good. Colin Burdick, he's new to league. He could be good. Jack Kelly, he's had his spurts of being really good when he's there and stuff. So you kind of The more I look at your team, the more I agree with my pick for the 1 seed, and I'm not even on your team. But so for your play style, do you plan on making any changes? I know in the past you're more of a pitch really well and get on base, not hit a lot of home runs. Do you plan on keeping that up?
Yeah, I'll just plan on keeping it the same because I'll probably have either Zane or Austin hitting first, and like every time Austin leads off, he's guaranteed basically a hit. And like this year, we don't really have any power hitters, so we're just like be more of a contact team, contact and pitching team.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of formula that your team looks like they're going to have. You're a deep team. Do you have any final thoughts going to the end of this?
Basically that we're the best team, always will be. I love the Monarchs, but yeah, my team's looking pretty good. I can trust Taylor to show up because he always shows up.
Yeah.
And he can do good when he wants to.
Yeah, you're definitely a historic franchise, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the season.
Yeah.
That's the episode.
Nice.